Okay, Sharmee.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharmee Divan here, and with me is Dr. Ruth Anderson and Leena. We're interviewing Leena Thadani today. Leena has recently created and launched her new frequency healing courses. Level 1 for true balance and level 2 for harmonious manifestation. She has many psychic spiritual gifts that she puts to good use to help people with their businesses as well as their bodies. Leena has a unique ability to connect with the consciousness of your body and your business and hear it whisper a roadmap with clear directions to move your business forward. She is a gifted, compassionate healer, has an expansive state of mind, and totally non-judgmental. Her healing sessions are astoundingly deep, beneficial, transformational, and empowering. Her work entails clearing emotional trauma and negative beliefs caused by trauma experienced in this lifetime as well as previous lifetimes that show up as physical ailments in this lifetime or as karmic relationships. Leena helps you build a trusting relationship with yourself, with your body, and with others. To the best of her ability, Leena gently guides you on the spiritual path that unlocks your highest potential. She maintains a presence on social media and works mainly with clients who have heard about her work and reach out to her. Leena is also a clairvoyant artist and is in the process of painting a series of spiritual paintings depicting Buddha. Now, I have also known Leena to do something even better, even more mystical, magical, and really so in alignment with One with the Light, our light language show. She knows how to interpret the light language, the light codes. So, Leena, tell us about this amazing ability of yours.
So actually everything is vibration. So what I do is I pick up the vibration and I can interpret it into English. So that's one of my spiritual gifts, is like I'm a translator. So I can translate the frequency or the vibration into words. And the words are actually quite precise. Like when I talk to bodies or when I'm interpreting light language, it will give me the exact word which has the exact meaning. So it's actually very interesting. And the words are precise. So that's really interesting. So this is a new spiritual gift actually that I don't know how I unlocked, maybe through all the meditation, the light language, because I was just actually one day looking at it and I see symbols when I meditate, and then I was thinking about it, and then I just started picking up the vibration and the symbols started talking to me. So it's actually been very interesting to interpret them, because a lot of us just channel it without really knowing how it works or what it's doing for us or how it's moving us forward. So it's nice to know that.
And how long ago did you start doing this? Did this come to you?
Yeah, it started actually slowly. And then as my meditations became deeper, as actually my own connection with my body deepened, and as the messages became clearer, so they were not so clear in the beginning, but as I started trusting and as I started sort of acting on them, right? Like the guidance that I would receive, as I started acting on it and moving as per what that guidance was, it started just becoming stronger and stronger. So now it's like I can talk to somebody's body and have a full-scale conversation with their body or their business, like how I'm talking to you. And they have very interesting things to say. So it's really the bodies and businesses. Yeah. Even the codes, the bodies, the businesses, it's very interesting because they completely override the mind, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting, the messages that we have stored in our body, the wisdom. There is so much wisdom in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
And you
fascinating.
also do the artwork related to that, is that correct?
Yes. So the artwork is actually more about the colors and the way I combine colors. So, and I use a lot of colors in my artwork. Like you'll see like almost every color if you look at my, even with digital or even my canvas paintings, I use a lot of colors together, and it's the way the colors all sort of come together. So they create like a healing effect as you look at the
Mm-hmm.
painting. And I paint very intentionally. I have a lot of intentions in my mind before I start painting, and then all of those sort of get embedded in the painting. So there's a lot of healing intentions that I put into the artwork as well.
And does your artwork also have the codes?
Yes, so some of them I didn't realize actually there were codes when I first started painting. I didn't know what I was painting. I would just like see something, or it would just flow through me when I was painting. And yeah, then later on, when I started seeing the codes in my meditations, and then when I learned Sekhem and saw the symbols, and then I realized like, okay, I've seen these before and they were in my paintings. So yeah, that was really interesting.
And do you have any of your paintings that you can share with us?
At the moment, I don't have any. They're outside. You want me to like take you out there? But you can see them on my Facebook page and on my Insta page.
Yeah, take us on a tour, or if like maybe if we
The
share,
light.
if you can share screen or something.
How do
It
I
would be
share?
interesting for people to see the artwork that you have.
Maybe let me show you. I don't know whether you can see it. So they're really big. They're like 6 feet, 4 feet.
Okay. And you do these for
So they wouldn't
clients?
fit on the screen. I wouldn't know how to show you. But if you go to my Facebook page, you can see I have an album of all of my artwork. So you can see it there.
Okay. Would you be able to share it here, like with a share
How do
screen?
I share it?
Do a share screen option?
I don't think I can do a share screen. You'll have to do it.
No, actually, Leena, you can do it. If you look down on the bottom of your screen, it has like mute and stop video.
Like right next to the chat option, there's a share screen option.
It should be
I
green.
don't know if you're using your phone or
no, I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Because I couldn't connect from my computer, so then I decided to connect from my phone.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because the link wasn't working on the computer, so I won't be able to share it.
Oh, okay. Ruth, do you have some questions for her? Maybe I could look up the artwork meanwhile.
Oh, I see it. I do. Yes, I see her. If you go to her page and then go to her album.
Yeah,
awesome.
I paintings.
Yeah, they're awesome. Actually, yes, we definitely want to make sure that we get those on. So, Leena, different folks that we've had come on and talk about light language, they have talked about how it's channeled messages that might come from a variety of sources. So for some people, it's galactic light language. For others, it's angelic. For others, it's ascended masters, or even from Gaia. When you translate light language, do you know who it's from?
Yes. So I always ask because I'm very curious. And I always ask and I always get an answer. And so sometimes it's the Pleiadians, sometimes it's the Andromedans. I work closely with the Blue Avians. They've come in a couple of times. So I didn't know who they were. Then some galactics I've actually met while working with clients, because galactic families have come in.
Interesting.
Yes.
And have you received messages as well from the angelic realm?
Yes, I do. I'm very closely connected to the angelic realm, and even to the Syrian archangels.
Okay, great.
So they're also pretty active. So I think once you start unlocking your spiritual gifts, you can actually tap into different fields of information.
Talk
So
about
whether
that.
it's the earth,
Yeah.
whether it's the earth, or whether it's plants or talking to animals, it's just you tapping. You have the ability to then tap into different fields of information. So like even you can talk to the planets. All of them have like some medicine or some wisdom to give us. So it's really interesting.
Now, Leena, have any of the messages really surprised you?
Yes, actually a lot of messages have surprised me. Like one morning I woke up with a SOS signal from the volcanoes on Earth, and they said they've been activated, and I was actually really surprised by that message. And then so I asked them, I said, so what can we do? What is required from us, from people? So the volcanoes told me that people have stopped dancing. We want people to dance again.
Mm.
So some of the messages are actually very surprising, and some of the solutions are really simple.
And do you put that information out for people?
No, not yet. But I do put it out like in my forum, in my family and friends circle. But I don't put it out for the public.
Yeah.
But I'm planning to start. I actually wanted to put it out in the form of my artwork, like use pictures and words together to sort of convey the whole essence of the message.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sharmee's got your album open, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, Leena, have you always been an artist? And then this opened up for you?
No, so I never wanted to be an artist, and I never thought about it. But somewhere around like 2006, 2007, I felt this hand at the small of my back, and it was pushing me to paint. And I had no clue. So I went to the art shop and I told the guy, I said, I need to paint, but I know nothing about it. So a friend of mine came along with me, and she does like Varli art. So she sort of helped me pick brushes and paints, and that's how I started. And then for a long time, I think for almost 5 or 7 years, I painted only spirals. And at that time, I had no idea what it was about. But I think it was almost like I was waking myself up, and I was only painting these spirals and in different colors, and like this is what I could see. So it was coming out on the canvas. So it was actually very interesting. It was a very interesting phase of my life.
Leena, when you look at your old artwork now, can you tell, is there a message attached to them?
So it's just, I think I was sort of taking myself into a higher level of consciousness, just with the colors and just with that painting the spirals, because it was a very meditative process, just painting the spirals. And it was actually interesting for me because I had no idea why I was painting these spirals, but it was just like a compulsion to paint them. And it was only after that, then I started painting other stuff, like I tried landscapes, and then I started painting Buddhas, and then I started painting fantasy nudes of these like blue beings. Also very interesting because I have no idea where they're coming from. And then I realized I was channeling all of the artwork and channeling the colors and all of that. So it's been actually quite fascinating. My own artwork fascinates me.
That is so awesome. Sharmee, can you give us the bigger vision so we can see all of the different ones in the album?
So this one actually particularly caught my eye. It's so stunning, and I think it says cosmic.
Yeah.
in a different
Yeah.
way. Yeah. And I see the
And this is actually
spirals, a
one of
lot
the
of
earlier
spirals.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is all hand drawn.
Yeah. Yeah. This is all on canvas.
Okay. And here is some barley. I see the barley.
Yeah.
What is this about?
So this was actually a painting which I did, and then it was like these blocks of color were coming through. So I just painted them, and I don't remember what it was at that time, but it was a lot of this black and white was coming through with these blocks of colors. And there was a lot of green, so I
One
think it was
have a,
heart energy.
did this have any message, any particular message?
I think it was more about getting back to our roots, getting back to the old way of doing things and being connected to the earth. Because the Varlis were like tribals,
Right.
and they were very connected to the earth.
Yes. A lot of the times I've seen the Wali paintings and they are done on a natural, like
Yes,
bamboo.
they use like natural mud.
Yes, and they
Yes.
use mud or they use cow dung and then they paint on that. I have, I have seen that. It's one of the art forms in India, Ruth.
So say the word Warli.
Warli.
W-A-R-L-I.
Warli. So it's like
Okay.
one of the traditional, the tribes, one of the old, very old traditional tribes in India.
And so go back to that, Sharmee, and show me which part of that is the Warli part, just so I know what.
This
The
part.
black and white.
Do you see
The
the
black and white
figures?
part.
Do you see the stick-like
Yes.
figures?
Uh-huh.
And all of this is all Warli painting.
Okay.
Mainly this, the stick figures. And even these lines that look like railroad tracks.
Uh-huh.
That's Warli.
Okay. Thank you. I love learning from you.
And they draw like very simple figures, and they depict like everyday life scenes from like everyday life, and it's very simply and nicely done. Like you get a whole picture.
I'm enjoying your work very much, Leena.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's beautiful. Beautiful.
This must have taken you forever. It's so intricate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had
How
to like
long
use
did
a
you
very
take?
fine brush. So this was also a great learning process because I learned so much about brushes and paints and, you know, the technical stuff about art, because I'm not a trained artist. So it was fun to like learn all the different mediums that you can use. It was really great.
And all of this is completely from your intuition and your greater knowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so attractive that it's so
Oh,
interesting.
look. And this one has words in it. Do you see the words? I see sense. I see info.
That
And
other
there are
said info sense.
some rune signs.
What does info sense mean, Leena?
So this I had done for somebody whose company's name was InfoSense.
Got it.
So this was his logo, but when I saw it, I could see it as like artwork.
And then when you gave him this painting of yours, this artwork of yours,
Yeah,
what
he hung
happened
it
to
up in
his
his-
business?
He hung it up in his company. I don't remember actually what happened. These are like some of my older works. At that time, I was not talking to businesses.
What about this one?
So this is also one of my earlier ones. So when I used to meditate, this is what I used to see. These spirals with these colors is what I used to see. And then I used to paint that.
Oh, okay. And so like so when you do this for individuals or businesses, do you think of a certain intention, like like let's say if I was to come to you and I tell you that I want my business to grow, and can you make
Yeah.
an artwork for me? Is that how it works
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Because I have to set the intention beforehand, right? And then whatever flows is what is required for you or for your business.
This is another interesting one. Tell us about this.
Um, so this is actually the first one what I started with. And in the
Oh.
beginning, so if you see my earlier ones, I could only paint between black lines. So it was I was actually scared to paint out of the black lines. So I would like, whatever was coming through, I would paint black lines around it. And it was sort of limiting me, and that flow was not there. So this is actually one of the first ones I started with. And there were a lot of Egyptian symbols and things that were coming through. And my later ones, if you see, then the black lines sort of go away, and then you see more flow and more. So I think it was also like my evolution, my spiritual like growth and evolution. So
Tell me which one is like a more recent one.
the last,
The
if you go down, the Buddhas, yeah. That's the new collection that I've started of the Buddhas. Go to the last 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is actually the last one that I've completed.
So there's a lot less of the black and more of
Yes.
the other
Yes.
colors. Yeah.
But most of the beings that I paint, and even the Buddhas that I paint, or the nudes that I paint, all the beings are blue.
Wow.
What about this one?
So this
So
is,
interesting.
yeah. So
Is
this
like
this
a guy and a girl, like a
yeah.
relationship
So
painting?
this actually I painted when so a few months ago I was working on myself. I was balancing the masculine and feminine energy within me, and this painting was during that time. So I think it was sort of the essence of that, what I was going through at that time.
Beautiful.
Yeah. For somebody who has never trained in art, and like to see this kind of work is just, it's so wow, like when you're so guided to do things.
Yeah.
And each and every one of them is like so unique in itself.
Yeah. So for me, once I start painting, I never know how it's going to turn out, because even if I have something in mind, what turns out is the way it wants to turn out.
So what seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that your light language is through the colors and the paintings.
Yes.
It's not through the hand gestures or the
No,
the
I don't do it the way you do it.
Yeah.
Mine is totally through color, because see, everything is vibration, right? So I interpret that vibration. See, the way we interpret the vibration is according to our senses. So the way I interpret the vibration is through color, through words.
Yeah. And yet you're still able to look at somebody else's downloads. I remember giving you some of my codes that I downloaded, and you were able to tell me exactly what the energy of that is.
Yes.
So do you do that like professionally, or is it just a service that you do because you're guided to interpret it?
I'm not doing it professionally, but a lot of my friends have started doing light language, like in the last maybe 4 or 5 months almost. I think just the energy coming in, right? It's opening up everybody's spiritual gifts, at least those who are doing the inner work and meditating and getting to know themselves and getting rid of their limitations. So they started sending me their light language, and I started talking to the codes. just looking at it, and it would just pop into my head what it's for. So yeah, it's actually been really interesting. So I'm actually trying to hone that skill because I'm finding it so interesting and so useful, right? Just to put out the codes or the light language coming in. And they are actually keys to unlock a certain aspect or to unlock a virtue. So it's interesting.
And are you also able to interpret, so like, for those of us who also speak light language, are you able to interpret somebody speaking light
No.
language as well?
That
No.
actually I
Just the
haven't been
codes.
able to do. That actually I haven't been able to do, but I've actually feel the vibration. Like when somebody is channeling light language through their voice, I actually feel the vibration very deeply. But so far I haven't tried interpreting it. But maybe if I try, I might be able to, but I haven't tried that so far.
I'm very tempted to give it a shot, like right now, and see if you
So
can.
I actually tried to, I talk a lot to, I'm very connected to the water consciousness and very connected to the whales and dolphins. And I talk to them a lot, the orcas, and, they send messages, or if I need wisdom or guidance, I go to them and I ask them. So I was trying to interpret the whale songs, but I couldn't do it. The sound of the whales and the whales singing, I couldn't do it. So that's something left to unlock.
And if we did talk about this in the beginning of our conversation, do you also like the whales? The song of the whales. There's also the songs that are embedded in the mountains.
Yes.
Do you hear them? Like you talked about
I haven't
volcanoes.
heard them. I haven't heard the mountains singing, but I've heard them talking. They talk loud and clear, and they actually have a lot to say to us, like how they want people to dance, right? They said the joy is missing.
I'm going slightly off the topic, but it just drew my attention so massively that she has this beautiful green dragon in her, cover picture on her Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. And I was wondering what your connection is with dragons.
So I connect a lot to the dragons. They've actually taken me to the dragon realm. It was like the most fabulous experience I've ever had. And they visit me very often, and they tell me that they've just come to rest. So they just come and they just hang out with me, and they just tell me that they've come to rest and recuperate. So sometimes I don't even talk to them. They're just there. So I don't know. So one of them told me that we come to rest in your aura. So I don't know what that is about, but like there's this big yellow one who comes like quite often, and he's really big. And there are these baby ones who come, very interesting. So I don't see them, but I can sense them very clearly and hear them, and they're very interesting. And they're very super helpful. Super helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, they do actually. Very, especially the air dragons. Like whenever I'm going to Delhi, I ask them to like clear the smog, and they are super helpful. Really, really helpful.
Thank you. Ruth, you have something to share, say?
Leena, I'm just curious. 2 questions. One, have you always been connected to energy and intuition?
So I think I was, as a child, my nose was constantly in like books of magic. And I would do magic shows like for my brother and sister, for my siblings. That's all I did. I had a magic wand. I had like a witch's hat. My whole childhood, all the games that you play, this was what I did. And I would see things, but every time I told my mom, she would say, "You're imagining it," So I think somewhere it got tamped down through my teenage years, and as how we get busy in college and stuff like that. And then I think later on, then it sort of came back. Actually, when I started doing the bark flower therapy, it came back. So I think the flowers actually started my journey, my spiritual journey. Like it brought all the magic back. All the magic I had as a child, all of that came back.
Aw, that's very sweet. And then right before you started being able to receive the artwork and be able to interpret other people's light language codes, did you have any kind of larger awakening that brought
Yes, I did actually. I had a complete walk-in. So it was like one morning I was meditating and I just felt like this immense love, and I actually felt like my soul walk into my body, and I was different from that. It was like a 1 minute thing and I was completely different after that. So I just think it was like my higher self just sort of walked in at that point, right? And I was awake. It was as fast as that. And then when I read like Eckhart Tolle's book, and he described something similar that happened to him, I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. It's happening to people out there. Because my family really thought like I was crazy because I was completely different. It was interesting. It was interesting to see because your likes changed. Everything changed. Everything was different.
Wow. Leena, do you have any idea where all this is heading for you?
So I don't think it's only me. I think we're all ascending. All of humanity is ascending as well as our planet. I think it's a journey that we're all taking together as a collective. So, so I feel that every one of us who can contribute to that just by raising our consciousness a little bit, that little bit, if everybody does it, I think we're going to get to a really beautiful place. Like I've tapped into the future a few times and it is really beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
Really, really nice. Like even the technology that I've tapped into, a lot is going to change because I've been tapping into different business sectors and, asking what's going to change. And I'm getting like a lot of stuff will be obsolete. Like I actually got like air conditioners are going to be obsolete. And I'm like, really? I'm from Africa. I don't think I can live without one. But I'm getting like a lot of, when I tap into that informational field, I'm getting like a lot of stuff is going to change. And we are going through that upheaval and that change. But what's at the other end of it is really beautiful.
Nice. Thank you. Leena, if people want to know more about you, we know that they can go to your Facebook page, which is Leena K. Thadani, Thadani. So we know they can go there. Do you have any other place where people can go learn more about you?
Yes, so I am under the same name on LinkedIn and I'm under the same name on Instagram as well. So these are the 3 platforms. I'm still in the process of building my website and putting up all the information out there. So that'll be up soon as well.
Okay. And if do you work one-on-one with clients? I know you do artwork.
I do work one-on-one with clients. And I have clients all over the world. So at the moment I'm working like different time zones and trying to like balance it all out. But yes, I do work one-on-one. So the group sessions are great, but I feel like if somebody's stuck in a certain place in their life, they need that one-on-one attention or that one-on-one help. Not even help. I wouldn't say I'm helping them because just empowering them to sort of shift through that, whatever they're going through, so that they can also then move on, right? And attain like a higher level of consciousness, a higher even way of living, just a way of being.
Perfect. That makes good sense. So folks can find you easily on Facebook or LinkedIn or on the web. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ruth.
Sharmee, thank you for bringing Leena to us. How fascinating.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that.
It was delightful. So friends here at Enlightened World Network, if you want to learn more about light language, come back to us again. Sharmee and I get together on Fridays and we try to bring somebody new every week to teach you about light language. So with that, we're going to say goodbye and thank you so much for joining us. Take good care and God bless.